Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne.
Jesus Christ. That's Jason Bourne.
Bourne? Jesus Christ.
Same movie. It's the same movie. It's the same movie again. It's
the same movie. Hello and welcome to another episode of Kill James Bond. Jesus Christ, I'm Alice Caldwell Kelly. Jesus Christ, that's Abigail Thorne. And Jesus Christ, that's Devon. Jesus Christ, that's Devon. Just like at the squat rack at the gym, just like, Jesus Christ, that's Devon.
It's the same movie. He's made the same movie 4 times in a row. Paul! It's the same film. Is this like an avant-garde art piece? Are you taking the piss to see how many times you could do this to me?
We're almost done. We're almost finished. We are so close to being done with Jason Bourne, and this is the final one, the 5th one in the franchise. It's called, you know his name, brackets, if you don't, it's Jason Bourne, or at least that's what's on the poster. It's Jason Bourne, although actually the way they title it on the title cards, it's smushed together, so the title of this movie is Jason Bourne.
There was a metaphor I used in the copy for the episode, the Bourne Legacy, where I likened the Bourne Legacy to the bit in Spider-Man 3 where Sandman is trying to pull himself into a corporeal form, nearly fucking makes it, and then just collapses back down into slop. And that is what happened to the Bourne series. Very briefly, it tried so hard to be real, but then it just became slop again.
Every day I get up, I push Jason Bourne up a hill, and every night he rolls down again. Every day Jason Bourne eats my liver and it grows back. It's the same film!
It's insane.
This time, it's made in 2016, which means that Matt Damon is looking increasingly like himself in the end of Saving Private Ryan. He's getting old, is the thing. He's in his 40s, and he came back for one last movie in exchange for getting Paul Greengrass back to write and direct.
Absolute loss on everyone's part.
Which means it's going to be another movie that you can't see.
I'm so upset. Like, there's a note later on which I'd get to, but I don't care. Which is like, I still can't see anything, but the budget and stunt work is much higher and higher quality.
Yes.
So I feel like I'm missing some really cool shit.
He does hold off a little bit longer in this one.
That's true. So we begin by, because As we know, this is from the era of posters of writing stuff over Matt Damon's face, and what they did with this one was, you know his name, like, you know who Jason Bourne is, but they have no confidence in it. So they begin with Jason Bourne's sizzle reel.
They really do.
Just reminding you of all of the stuff that he's done, all of the people he's killed. Mark Strong comes back in a flashback as Professor Chimp.
We see him committing to the program again.
Yes, we do.
Albert Hirsch is there. You get like a shitload of lines from Hirsch, but there's one line in particular that is somewhat conspicuous in its absence.
He won't say it. Also, Jason says the weirdly horny line.
I'll be whoever you need me to be, sir.
And he becomes Jason Bourne. And then we see where he is in the present day, which is much like the Mountain Goats song, International Small Arms Traffic Blues. He is on the border between Greece and Albania, where he is like debasing himself by just getting in fistfights and like bare knuckle boxing.
Yeah, he does Fight Club, and he one punch man's a guy.
Yes. That's the one like piece of cinematography that I kind of liked in this scene, is that he gets in a fight with this guy, and the movie kind of hypes him up a bit. He's a big guy, and the camera sort of follows over Jason Bourne's shoulder as he just walks out there and like follows the punch through as he like knocks him to the ground with one blow, which is nice.
Absolute return to form for foreign voices as a threat indicator, which is always fun.
Yes. We got the yellow filter back.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We're seeing a bunch of guys sort of like really focused on a big combat sport event, pushing in a circle, trying to make bets, which is your sort of Casino Royale opening as well.
Also, it can't just be like Greece, because Greece is like, Greece, like nice, like holiday destination.
You know
It's
what Greece
Greece.
is?
Oh, fuck, it's on the Albanian border.
Holy shit. It's Albania.
Also,
Fuck.
this isn't quite in the years of tactical beards, which we'll have to talk about when we get to Sicario or whenever Ryan Gosling's new Grey Man movie comes out. But but he does have like a slight beard, like a kind of stubble, and that's so you know that it's like a beard of sorrow. He's like down on his luck. He's having a hard time because he doesn't shave.
Yeah.
Same.
It's Punish Bourne.
He's just had electrolysis. He can't shave it for a couple of days.
It's a shame. Yeah, no. And then So the thing about this opening scene is, just in case you forgot what Jason Bourne is, they play the hits, and that's capital P, capital T, capital H. They play the hits.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, all of these missed the first time round, so I'm just fondly remembering shit movies.
They play the misses.
They play the fucking misses. Like, they cut straight from, like, Foreign Voices threat, there's a filter, Jason Bourne punches a guy, it's straight to computers.
Yes, we have to enter 20 minutes of computers because Nikki Stiles, Julia Stiles, Nikki Parsons, from the previous movies, she's back. She's in Reykjavik. She also looks like shit, but women aren't allowed to grow a beard of sorrow, so she just hasn't put any lipstick on. It's very funny the way they try and convey that. It's like a full face of makeup that is trying not to look like makeup.
Oh my god, you're right. That is how they do that. Like, you can't have Beard of Sorrow, Nikki, so you have to have, like, Nikki just, like, not wearing lipstick. That's very funny.
Yeah. You have not wear lipstick and have, like, one strand of hair out of place. Like, she looks better than I've ever looked in my life. And she's like, we're supposed to get from this, like, oh man, she's in a horrible place.
She gets fucking done dirty by this movie. Like, again.
That's true. So she goes to a, I guess, anonymous hacking camp.
Yeah, she goes to a gamer den.
Yes.
It's cool.
Where she games her way into knocking on the front door of the CIA's mainframe with like an old CIA laptop. And I look, right? I'm going to play a couple of drops of what the dialogue is like at this point, because this immediately sets off an alarm in CIA headquarters, and we see Alicia Vikander, hello, who is the CIA's, like, computers expert, go to, like, try and counter-hack it. And everybody sounds like they're reading off cue cards. Everyone sounds like this.
They found a back door. We need the reverse shell. I'm gonna locate the source. I'm working on it.
That is unedited. That is how the dialogue sounds.
Give me some eyes on the street.
Guys, some eyeballs on the street.
Need some, they're hacking the mainframe.
The graphics on the screen here is perfect. It's a little laptop icon trying to plug into the big CIA icon that is literally labeled CIA main server.
Clippy appears and is like, it looks like you're trying to access secret files on kill squads. Would you like some
It's
help?
one of those movies where a lot of things happen on a computer, but they also don't have the confidence to make it look realistic. So I spent a lot of time pausing to read what was on the screen, and it was always phenomenal.
CIA secret mainframe.
Okay, people, we have a major breach of our classified mainframe.
I hate when I have a major breach of my classified mainframe.
That would fucking suck, personally.
Alicia Vikander implants some malware into the little USB stick that Nikki is downloading the stuff on. But we see Nikki go through the files, and what she's looking for is, like, all of the Treadstone programs, all of the, like, bullshit other programs, because they invent a new one every year, like Blackbriar.
There's actually, they find a fucking laptop later on, and it lists all 10 chimp programs, and I have their names here if you'd like to run through.
Please.
So, in ascending order, obviously, Treadstone, the original chimp program.
Yep.
Then we've got Blackbriar, the Treadstone upgrade. Emerald Lake, Outcome, Larks.
That was Jeremy Renner's?
That's the drugs one, yep.
Larks was the super chimp. And then since then, they've had Spearfish, Rubicon, Hourglass,
Less good?
Spectrum, Iron Hand.
Spectrum 11.
Spectrum is fucked me.
So the thing is, right, the CIA, they've done it again, obviously, and the new one is Iron Hand. We don't know that yet. What we have to do is go through all of the, like, files, and as she's going through the files, she finds that David Webb, Jason Bourne's dead name, was, like, he was spied on in advance of being recruited, and the guy who wrote the original, like, Treadstone program, the guy who proposed it, is his dad.
Robert Webb.
Yeah. Mitchell and Webb. So at this point, I'm like, the movie is in my head now just the Bourne paternity. It's the Bourne paternity.
Absolutely.
And so they trace back this thing to the SecOps hacker camp, which is so we have heard of Anonymous. It's the same thing this movie does when it references Edward Snowden. I have a theory about this later that I'll get into. But the important thing is that Alicia Vikander shuts down all of the power, cuts off the hacking attempt, but they know they've been hacked, and it follows its way all the way up to the CIA, to the director, Tommy Lee Jones.
Love his performance in this film. So good.
Looking extra craggy here.
Trying harder than like anyone else in this film to make it good.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And across the country to a tech firm called Deep Dream, to the CEO, Riz Ahmed, playing the same role from Venom.
They only ever let Riz Ahmed play a tech CEO. They should let him do another one. But to be fair, he fucking nails this one, so good for him.
Yeah.
He does. He's kind of a Zuckerberg type.
Yeah. We also get the first drop of a name that I would love to continue to refer to here, which is they mention Christian Dassault. They mention this man. They set him up so hard. And I cannot wait to discuss what they do with it.
I don't remember who that is.
He's the hacker activist guy. He's some sort of like prince of hackers.
Oh, that's who that guy was.
His name's in like full caps on this lass's screen, and we get a series of lines where CIA computers person Heather Lee is chatting with Tommy Lee Jones, Brian Cox number 5. Where like you get the first one, which is just like, this is worse than Snowden, and then the second one where they're
that
like,
wasn't a hack, was it?
I don't even know.
Ed, come on the podcast.
This could impact Deep Dream and Iron Hand, and I wrote, oh no, Deep Dream and Iron Hand. Oh, dear.
So Tommy Lee Jones wants to like figure out where they're going, and they think that maybe Jason Bourne is involved. Nikki is involved with Jason Bourne. They're going to try and destroy the CIA again. Therefore, they have to track them. And they track Nikki going to Athens.
They track Nikki through... This is another point where I paused and looked at what they were typing into the screen. They track Nikki through the expedient of essentially Googling woman in Reykjavik. And it was like 300 matches and just flashes up a series of faces until you get to Nikki.
Yes, it was so funny.
Heather, Alicia Vikander, has seen the previous Bourne films, and she knows that there's a role of like the guy in the control room who's like doing hacked out bypass. She's like, hey, Tommy Lee Jones, I want to be the man in the control room, brackets woman.
I want a girl boss this.
And Tommy Lee Jones is like, cool, yeah, sick, agent girl boss. And then Tommy Lee Jones activates a French chimp. He activates Monsieur Chimp. Who's going to be our guy who's hunting Jason Bourne.
I wrote him down as the quasi-chimp, because the chimp's deal was that they were impersonal and stuff, but this guy, he's called the Asset, which is a terrible fucking codename.
Yeah.
He's not quite impersonal, because in a sort of your actions have consequences Jason Bourne baby's first theme, he was undercover in Syria. He was captured and tortured because he was exposed by Jason Bourne leaking the Treadstone program. And so now he has a permanent sort of personal vendetta against him.
Which I'd like to mention
He's a former
didn't happen. It wasn't Jason Bourne who did that. It was
that didn't happen.
CIA girl boss.
Simon Ross.
Yeah, Pamela Landy, who is not in this movie. They've just like had her killed or whatever.
This is not appearing in this movie. Who she leaked it. It's not anything to fucking do with Jason Bourne.
Yeah, she leaked it. Well, that guy leaked it to the guy who works for...
This guy's a writer for The Guardian.
That guy.
Yeah, Simon Ross.
Yeah, Simon Ross. Who's the man whose last words were, "Oh, the bin man."
Oh, the bin man.
Play it again, Sam. Give me the fuck.
Oh, the bin man.
Bin's mate. So, yeah, he activates Monsieur Chimp. Everyone still sounds like they're reading off cards. Oh, and we also get a sense of the sort of managerial dynamics of the CIA, which is that Alicia Vikander she's ambitious and she's trying to go around the CIA director, which he does not appreciate. And he is going to, it is heavily implied he's going to try and fuck her over later. So, Nikki goes to Greece, leaves a message for Jason Bourne while he's bare-knuckle boxing and getting his ass beat. It's like, come and meet me at the protest scene from The Bourne Identity.
Das ist verboten!
He's getting his shit knocked in during the boxing, and then he spots Nikki in the crowd and ends it in one punch. So you get the sort of...
Yeah, the win button.
He's built up enough to unleash his super. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
do these people like ever meet anywhere other than a protest that's about to turn into a riot? Is my thing.
We have got to stop meeting like this.
They meet in a sort of a left-wing protest, which bizarrely everybody is carrying either a red flag or the Greek national flag. It's a sort of an odd combination.
Yeah, you'd think they wouldn't be getting on.
No, it's just Greeks protesting is sort of the vibe of it. There's no like real.
They're doing patriotic socialism. Finally.
Oh, we're gonna do it, baby.
Yeah, they're all getting together and giving a big speech about how I work for the royal family.
Yeah, so all of the Greek intercept guys, they're fighting the cops. And this is the one moment where like Paul Greengrass's directorial instinct work for him, because the way in which he does stuff is I can't see, right? He cuts every second. It's his way of showing like speed and intensity and violence. His problem is he just does it too much. It's not legible, and he does it in bits where it doesn't make any sense. The one place where this does make sense is filming a riot, right? And so it kind of works. You get lots of little like shortcuts of guys getting the shit kicked out of them by riot cops or like throwing Molotovs or whatever. And you're like, oh, okay, this is kind of, this is kind of getting something going. This is working. So she has to like meet him and deliver a series of like ominous like half explanations.
Yeah, so she says they've started another illegal kill squad. Ryan Hand. This is number 10.
Jason, a 5th Jason Bourne movie is happening.
They want to put the files online. That's what Nikki was. She was like, we want to leak this. Despite the fact that like the previous leak clearly did not stop the CIA creating illegal kill squads, because they've made 5 more, but whatever. We want to do it again.
I'm working for Christian Dassault, this hacker guy. We want to do radical transparency, put it all online. And also, by the way, your dad was involved, which causes Jason to have little dad flashbacks.
He does have a dad flashback, which I really appreciate.
Every time his dad is mentioned to this motherfucker, he like fully goes into like a full crouch, hand on his forehead, like, oh shit, my dad, I have to like remember this.
Oh my god, I'm remembering the one memory of my dad, which is when we were hanging out in Algiers and something happened.
Beirut.
Also, so she says that like they were watching you before you signed up to Dreadstone. So basically, she thinks that Jason Bourne might not really have volunteered, and that kind of like undermines his entire character arc from the previous 3 films.
You chose to do this.
Yeah, like that was the whole thing about like I volunteered and therefore I feel guilty. If he didn't volunteer, then he's just like, oh, I guess I don't need to feel guilty at all. I can just go and live my life.
Yeah, that's
now.
his character arc from this one. Like, there is a line from Tommy Lee Jones earlier on where he's like, "You're gonna have to face the facts, Jason Bourne, that you volunteered for this." And I was like, okay, that's the theme. But the actual storyline that Jason Bourne goes through is, no, I didn't. And that's his that's his arc.
we get the world's fastest hero refuses the call, where he's like, I don't care about this. Why should I care about this? And she goes, I think you should. And he goes, fine.
He's like, oh right.
Okay. Oh right, fine. I'll do a 5th Jason Bourne movie.
We're gonna explore our relationship from like that was hinted that we had a thing before. Nope.
Can't wait for them to explore their relationship. Oh fuck, she's gone. Oh well.
Nikki hardly has any lines in this movie again.
Of course, the CIA, because they're tracking her and because they're following the USB stick as well, there's a bunch of guys looking for her with monoculars. There's
they
a
love
ton of binoculars in this movie.
I love a binocular in this film. Like.
And Alicia Vikander identifies a blonde woman in the crowd. She goes full Abby mode, and she's like, blonde detected.
Reverse by 2 seconds. Hold on.
Yeah, we get she unironically does an
enhance,
and she enhances.
Okay.
She has a weird accent in this movie too. She enhances this blonde movie. It is of course Nikki, and this sets off the chase.
So we don't. Okay, here's some fucking thing to note. They don't say the line. They don't say Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne. They don't do it. That was trailer
in the trailer, and they cut it.
In the actual movie, what happens is that he's briefly mentioned during the high-power CIA meeting, which includes Tommy Lee Jones, Alicia Vikander, and 2 other guys who are also present.
His Tommy Lee Jones is like adjutant or whatever, who says
Bourne? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Arto Asando, whose job essentially is to be in every high-powered meeting and just look baffled. Like, he doesn't actually do anything. He's just present at all times, looking like, holy shit. But his line
is the Bourne Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
And Jason Bourne. So they try and kill them both. Jason Bourne does some Jason Bourne shit. The riot stuff is like well filmed. The asset shows up, driving at speed in like in a VW Golf. And then nice. we get like inevitably there's another bike chase, right? Because Jason Bourne finds a bike, he beats up the guys, he puts Nikki on the back, and he's like, try not to get shot in the back of the head with a sniper rifle like the last girl I was doing this with. And she does.
Unfortunately, not great at this. He's got a track record of 0 for 0 on this.
No, just wasted, fully taken out by Monsieur Chimp. And
I feel really sorry for Julia Stiles because she has a lot of night shoots in this film, a lot of like difficult, like bitty stunt work, and she just gets fucking nothing to do and just gets killed. She's got no arc.
She has one series of lines where she just says the plot to the movie so that everyone can know what's happening, and then immediately gets aced by a sniper. And it's like, she's given nothing to do in any of these movies.
She's then not mentioned again. Completely unmourned.
She gets a sort of a horror death scene, which is quite effective, where she's like shot, but she's not dead immediately. And the Athens cops are closing in on Monsieur Chimp, and the CIA are telling him to get out of there. And he's like, no, I don't want to, because I have to like use her to lure Jason Bourne out and kill him. But this is not like successful, and he ends up killing her in front of him. She like throws him the USB stick with her dying moments. So now he has the like USB stick full of CIA malware and also the information on his dad. Also, I missed one thing, which is when they identify the blonde woman, Tommy Lee Jones is also in the room, and he sees that there's a dude with her, and he goes,
"Identify the male."
Which
every time I walk into a changing room, baby.
Just going off like a self-checkout. It's like... So, also, like...
Every time I go to the post office, I hear Tommy Lee Jones.
Identify the male.
me in the sauces aisle looking for a white sauce made with eggs.
Identify the male.
Terrible.
Well done.
So I have a thought here, right? Which is, as this chase is happening, right? Like, we see police roadblocks everywhere. The whole of Athens is like fucking on fire. Someone tells Tommy Lee Jones, apropos of nothing, that like the Greek government has declared a state of emergency. Everything's shut down. And I thought between this and the sort of fake anonymous thing, this movie is like written for a countercultural moment that didn't happen.
It really is, right? I'm so glad you picked up on this too.
This is.
I remember seeing this on the news back. Were there a lot of riots in Greece in 2016?
I mean, no more than usual. Like, I think the thing is, right, it's written for a kind of time that thinks that 2016 or so was going to be another 68, and that was going to have sort of transformative effects. And you kind of get this question of like, is or isn't Jason Bourne going to be aligned with like counterculture, sort of anti-capitalist thing? And the answer is no. And it's just as well that there wasn't this countercultural moment, because this movie has less than nothing to say about it. But it kind of acknowledges the possibility, which is
the one thing I will say for 2016 as a cultural moment is that was the last year that ever happened.
That's true.
And since then, every year has just been 2016 again, so that is worth.
Much like every film that Paul Greengrass has made, it's just been Jason Bourne again.
Paul Greengrass has like several shots that he loves to do, and I'm going to highlight them as they come through. But there was one I missed, which is CIA computers woman she's in a dark room on a computer. She's lit by the computer, and it's filmed through like a shutter shade. He loves that shot so much.
The other one that he loves is in a chase scene, somebody's foot pressing down on an accelerator.
Absolutely.
And he got 20 minutes into this movie before the first one of those, which is in the bike chase.
Yeah, so that you can tell they're going fast. How are you going to know they're accelerating if we don't show them pushing the accelerator?
So Jason has been tossed this USB stick and essentially like a notebook that says go to next location, right? He goes to next location. It's a left luggage locker. We get one interesting thing here, which is there's a gun in the left luggage locker and he just takes it. And that's an interesting parallel to Switzerland, where he does the same thing, but he throws the gun away because he's not a killer or whatever, where now he just is. That's That's cool. I like that kind of. But there's also a notebook which is like, Jason, next location is here.
Yeah.
Yes. Also, very, very funny to me, the USB stick has printed on it in big letters, encrypted. Just so you know.
We then cut to the most boring B-plot of all fucking time, which is, we've even missed out like 2 of these scenes because they aren't interesting, but Riz Ahmed and Tommy Lee Jones are having meetings where Riz, Aaron Kalur, he's the CEO of this fucking Deep Dream thing. It's not ever really stated what it is. He's just, it's Facebook. It's Facebook.
Facebook.
He does a fucking like press conference where he's announcing nothing. He goes out on stage and goes, "Deep Dream, baby," and everyone's like, "Yeah!" And he goes.
Also, that's the other thing about Aaron Kalur, right? Is that because Paul Greengrass has no idea how to write or direct someone who is popular,
no fucking idea.
Everyone is like way too into him. He will show up and he'll say, "Hey, how's it going?" And people will be like tearing their clothes off. They'll be like lying on the floor. It's
nice. He's dressed well. He's dressed right, like because he comes out in like a suit, sneakers. He's got this like the t-shirt and the suit jacket. Like it's a perfect tech CEO. And he comes out and he goes, "People have got some questions about surveillance." And then he pauses for 50 seconds and then goes, "We aren't surveilling you." And everyone goes, "Yeah!" And that's his character.
Yeah, and we see in this meeting between him and Tommy Lee Jones that essentially this movie has finally gotten to, there's a relationship between big tech and mass surveillance. Should we explore that? No. What they do instead is like, Riz Ahmed has been blackmailed and coerced and funded from a startup by the CIA in order to do this.
Yes.
And I think that like that's not just a misunderstanding.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. That's not just a misunderstanding, and that's catastrophically misrepresenting why the tech industry works the way that it does, right? You don't need to blackmail Mark Zuckerberg into doing anything for the CIA.
You certainly don't need to blackmail Facebook into surveilling you, because that's their whole fucking business model.
Yes, yeah, exactly. It's
just selling this surveillance state. Like, that's how they make money. Like, how is Riz Ahmed profiting if not by doing surveillance? Like,
there's a very specific line from Tommy Lee Jones where he's like, "Metadata is not enough anymore. I need a backdoor into the system." And Riz Ahmed's like, "Yeah, well, when you get that, you'll just want something else, won't you?" And Tommy Lee Jones goes, "Yes." And Riz Ahmed goes, "Ah, fuck." And Tommy leaves the scene. It's right.
To be fair, I think this is a much more interesting film. I would much rather have watched this film about like Riz Ahmed and Tommy Lee Jones, 2 great actors doing like CEO surveillance tech shit. I'd much rather watch that without the Jason Bourne nonsense.
Sure, like the idea of a CEO who like wants out and doesn't want to play ball anymore is an interesting one. But it's not a realistic one in the way that this movie presents it, because it makes the CIA the only bad actor here. Everybody's forgotten about the National Research Assay Group or whatever, who are like better than the CIA. We've forgotten about them. It's CIA clowns. It's just that
they're doing everything they can, Paul Greengrass, to render the previous movie non-canon. Like,
yes.
They're not discussing anything that happened. They're not mentioning any of the characters that were mentioned.
Jeremy Renner's not in it. He's on a beach somewhere with Rachel Weisz out at the end of the last film.
The only mention you get is that one very brief, like, word, Larks and, oh god, what was it, outcome on a fucking screen, and that's it. It's the only reference.
Yeah. Anyway, it's not like all of these are totally separate, and big tech actually wants not to surveil you. It's just being forced to by the government against its will, which is a very Reddit interpretation of how that happens, rather than these just quite like permeable institutions that people move between quite freely.
Rather than like actually the interest of capital and the interest of government have more or less aligned, and they both want to spy on you.
Essentially, he's doing like an Ajit Pai thing, right? Like he's like, oh, the internet needs to be free. You know, like a lack of surveillance, privacy is freedom.
It's an Aaron Swartz thing too, which is, I think, also part of the name.
And like Tommy Lee Jones, his character is like repeatedly just being like, "Listen, you're going to give us that data because that serves national security. And if you're not going to give us that data, then you're fucking actively making the country worse. So I'm kind of fucked up with you."
There's a bit later on where they're meant to have a debate between each other on stage, And the announcer fully just tells you what the theme of the movie is.
Personal rights versus public safety. This is the great question of our time. And the choices we make about this will determine our future.
So, you know.
The fact that you think it's a choice, the fact that you think the public has a choice about that is already fucking laughable.
So Jason goes to Berlin, and he meets Christian Dessau, who is wearing...
That's who this guy was. I thought he was a chin.
He's the hacker guy. You can tell because he's wearing a big, long, stupid Euro vibes ass.
Yeah,
hoodie.
my notes say pre-order now to receive Christian Dessau's iconic
Is that what
hoodie.
hackers were?
Yeah, he lives in a like totally empty loft apart from a load of computers and a set of weights and a weightlifting bench.
Okay, to be fair, so do I. So like, let's hang on.
That's not true. You've got Gundams.
Oh my god, I'm gonna retire. I'm gonna kill myself.
Yeah, no.
No, I was saying that in a good way. You've got interior decorating. You've got Gundams.
What Christian Dessau tries to get him on side. He finds out that Nikki is dead, and he's like, yeah, well, you know, she knew the risks, whatever. Which Jason does not like.
Yes,
but Christian
Not enough to like mention Nikki again.
No, Christian tries to get him on side with.
We both want to take down the corrupt institutions that control society.
So he talks like he walked here from In the Name of the Rose.
Talk like this the whole fucking time.
Also, I got a really clean drop of
society,
which I will be using.
That's right.
Future users.
That's fucking right.
Jason, it says a lot about our society.
Jason, my name is Christian Dessau.
Blasting through twinks.
I honestly had no idea who this guy was, and I was like, why is Chimp saying this anyway?
He fails the Skyfall test, right? Because Jason hands him a big USB drive with stolen CIA data with encrypted on it and goes, unencrypted this. And he just plugs it into his regular ass laptop where it sets off every single alarm at CIA headquarters.
I would have turned the Wi-Fi off on my laptop so that couldn't happen.
Christian Dessau mentioned Snowden for a second time this movie.
This laptop should not be shouldn't know what the internet is. It should be in a concrete safe 50 miles underwater before you plug anything into anything. But of course, the moment he does, the CIA immediately go, Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne, and also a weird German guy who keeps talking about twinks and society. They immediately get the CCTV feed outside. So they're looking in at them as well.
You get a really clean drop of someone in like the CIA panic room saying he's on a computer.
Yes, I have that. And in fact, I have the longer version where immediately after that, Tommy Jones says how I feel about the movie.
He's on a computer.
You have to stop this.
That's just him just giving notes.
He was looking directly at the camera at that point. You need to stop.
Why does he deliver that line like it's like your dad talking about your transition? It's so... Can I get it again? Can I get it again?
Yeah.
He's on a computer.
You have to stop this.
Oh man, Tommy Lee Jones is disappointed with your transition, Asmar. Horrible.
Hey man, we all are.
Shut up.
No,
you have to
Abby.
stop this.
You've got Gundams.
No, I do not. You take that back.
Oh, now it's an insult to our Gundams. Interesting. Fascinating to me.
Yeah, curious.
And yet you yourself participate in Gundams. Interesting.
So Jason gets the files decrypted. He goes through them and he sees his dad and immediately enters dad flashback number 2. This incapacitates his ass fully.
Honestly, must be a nightmare for Jason Bourne.
He sees a photo of his dad and he goes, I am going to have a 1.5 minute flashback of the time I met up with him in Beirut. And he said, I've done something mysterious that comes with a cost. And then he was blowed up by a terrorist attack.
Jason runs over to the exploded car, looks up and sees 2 Arab men. And it just sort of holds on them for a second. And I was like, I don't think you should do that. Also, my notes say, LeMayo, Jason's dad, invented Treadstone. Okay, cool. We need to stop making movies, actually.
So Jason figures out that he was surveilled beforehand. And he was surveilled by, like, a specific guy, Malcolm something, who is now in private security in London. Malcolm Gladwell. He works for a company called, and this is on the screen for a fraction of a second, a company called Pacma Group.
Sure.
To which...
Yeah, all right.
Pacma balls.
To be fair, I guarantee that some of the most powerful people on God's earth work for companies named that kind of shit. But additionally, I'd like to note, what is our Christian Dassault, the man that they have built up for a fucking entire movie, doing during this?
He is while Jason Bourne is distracted by dad mode, he simply saunters over to his weight bench, picks up a dumbbell, and tries to hit Jason Bourne really hard in the back of the head with it.
Why does he do this?
Because Jason won't leave him the files to leak on the internet.
He literally, he walks into the scene and they're like, I see that you're Christian Dassault, and he goes, we live in society. And then they don't know what to do with him, so he stands doing like a fucking idol animation for the entire scene while Jason Bourne finds out about his father, and then he just decides to hit him, and then he gets knocked out, and that's the last we fucking see of Christian Dassault.
Yeah, because Christian Dassault's deal, right, is Jason, you want to be part of this countercultural moment that we're in. And Jason goes, no, I don't, because I'm a sort of a grumpy American patriot, because this movie is still a fundamentally liberal one. And Christian Dassault goes, fair enough, I should try to kill you with some exercise equipment now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Jason Bourne is a Sigma male. He's going his own
Ryder's
way.
Not sure. He just stands around and then eventually goes ape mode. And additionally, what else is happening during this scene is Computers Woman says the line, "There's a phone in the room. I can use it to delete the files." And I went, huh.
Can you do that?
No. She also uses the phone to like call Jason, and she's trying to get him to come in, because what happens is now that Nikki has been killed, Jason has been issued with a second helpful CIA woman who is able to text him things like, you have 2 minutes to leave before the CIA get there. She thinks she can bring him in, but Tommy Lee Jones takes over the phone call. And is like, down home country, I'm very disappointed in your transition.
Once again, we have a female CIA operative who's like, we need to bring Jason Bourne in alive. And we have an older male CIA operative who's like, we need to kill this guy immediately. It's the same.
We need to kill this motherfucker right now. He literally, an insane Hail Mary from Tommy Lee Jones to go, what would your dad think about this? To a guy who's remembered his dad existed like 30 seconds ago.
Well, he's trying to put him in dad mode again. He's trying to put him in the flashback mode.
He's trying to buy time by putting him in dad flashback.
So Jason escapes easily by shoving a door into a guy's face.
Yeah, he does a share zone. He just leaves. I thought we were going to get like an escape sequence, but he just walks out of the building and leaves.
He leaves and he goes to London. While he's on the train, he has another dad mode flashback where he remembers his dad. And then he thinks about the woman, the Computers Woman, Heather Lee, Alicia Vikander, and he Googles her, and her bio and her appointment are public on the CIA's website.
What a fucking movie.
With a photo.
Computers.
And under the photo is a quote from her where she says, by choosing the CIA, I'm choosing the CIA because I think I can make a real difference there, which is something that I would write when I stopped taking pills.
That's something I did write when I became a YouTuber.
So he's like, maybe she is.
You also get a fascinating shot, and it's going to take me a while to explain why this is funny, but you get the shot of Bourne dissociating in dad flashback on the train, but he's sat on a window seat next to one of those like tables where they've got the sort of emergency stop like lever you can pull. And the effect of that is it's shot in soft focus. So for a brief second, it looks like he is just sat on the train staring terrified at this like glowing black box with like an orange light emitting from it, which I found to be phenomenal. I really enjoyed that.
So Alicia Vikander tries to like go around the CIA director, around Tommy Lee Jones again, to his boss, the director of national intelligence. By being like, listen, I can bring Jason Bourne in if you let me run this operation. We won't have to kill him. I think he's at a psychological tipping point. All I have to do is say, hey, think about your dad much once, and he'll be like mine. I'll be able to like sissy hypno
to the program.
Him. Yeah. And so the director of national intelligence okays this, and Tommy Lee Jones gives the most like, I am gonna fuck you up for this look. But kind of like glad hands her. and he sends the asset, Monsieur Chimp, to help her. And as they're preparing in the van, Monsieur Chimp is very much in the like, I am going to betray you voice. He's like, you're the boss, right? We're all friends.
We have an extended, I like this. I want to just preface, I like this, but we have an extended sequence, which is like, it's all the Man Who Was Thursday. Like, every single person involved in this is in a group chat with everyone else, all betraying each other at once. And it's great.
Just like every group chat we're all in.
Yeah. Like Malcolm Gladwell, I don't remember his name, I'm sorry. Malcolm Gladwell gets the call from Jason Bourne and they're like, I'm going to meet you at location in minutes.
Paddington Plaza. Yes.
They love to do it at Paddington.
They're all in a group chat. Tommy Lee Jones keeps posting his modeling pictures and making everyone else feel bad.
Tommy Lee Jones is running this from his like desk at home where he's got a little gamer headset on. He's doing like let's plays of this shit. Alicia Vikander is just in the back of a van trying to coordinate. She's trying to bring Jason Bourne in, but Monsieur Chimp kills the CIA guys and is like on his way to try and kill Jason Bourne
under direct orders of Tommy Lee Jones. And additionally, fucking Malcolm Gladwell, is in a group chat also with Tommy Lee Jones, who's going, just hold on, just stand still.
Switching earpieces every 5 seconds.
It's honestly the most like, they're in boys chat, and then there's boys chat brackets no Nikki, and then there's boys chat bracket no Tommy, and they just like have all of these various things, and they're arranging it.
Yeah. The thing is, like, Alicia Vikander's getting betrayed here, but she's getting cut out of this operation. But the way in which it's happened is she spent a lot of time in the back of a van looking at screens, because that's the shot that Paul Greengrass loves. And at this point, I'm so bored that I'm just start inventing new kinds of lesbianism. And so I'm just watching this, like, man, she's got a really great shaped nose. Do you think I could get one of those? Do you think a rhinoplasty and like...
You could, yeah. I mean, she kind of looks like an evil clone of Jennifer Lawrence.
A little bit.
It's a good look.
A little bit, yeah.
I kept writing like Catching Fire shit. Like, she absolutely does look like Mockingjay shit going on here.
Yeah, so Jason Bourne manages to kidnap Malcolm Gladwell. He takes him up on the roof and he interrogates him. But while he's interrogating him, Malcolm Gladwell is still in boys chat with Tommy Lee Jones, who's going, don't tell him anything. I'll kill your family.
It's so funny because they're in like... Malcolm Gladwell is in like the sights of Monsieur Chimp. Like, he is fully being shot repeatedly via camera, not actually shot. Like, he's just there. He's got a big fucking X on his head, and Tommy Lee Jones is on the phone to him being like, you should stand extremely still right now. You should not move your head at all for like the next 25 seconds for no reason. And fucking Jason does his special move. He sets off every alarm in the vicinity again, but we get to see him doing it this time, which is a little better. But he sets off every alarm. Everyone starts moving. Malcolm Gladwell's like, there's a lot of people around, I should move. And Tommy's like, you shouldn't move. You should stand very, very still. And eventually Jason does capture him.
Jason captures him. He interrogates him. And despite Tommy Lee Jones in his earpiece, Malcolm Gladwell tells him...
Does the Spy Who Loved Me shit. He's like holding him via tie off the edge of a building.
Yeah. Yeah. And Malcolm Gladwell tells him, yes, your dad created Treadstone. He tried to keep you from being recruited. He tried to keep you out of it, and that's why they killed him.
Mm-hmm.
Which causes Jason to have another dad flashback.
Yeah.
Just at the wrong time, because at that moment, Monsieur Chimp rounds the corner. And Jason, no hesitation, uses Malcolm Gladwell as a human shield, falls off the roof with him, and like uses him to break his fall with some terrible CGI.
Just before this happens, though, Jason Bourne is interrogating him and summarizes the film.
Oh yes, you're right. He does. He grabs him. He's like, explain this to me, because
it doesn't make any sense.
He's like, why doesn't the plot of this movie work? But yeah, his father found out he was going to get chimpified. He threatened to expose the program, and so they killed him.
Yeah, they killed him. Specifically Monsieur Chimp, which Jason will figure out.
Which is so cool, because it means that the asset, Monsieur Chimp, actually doesn't have a motivation at all. He's not mad because Jason betrayed him, because he betrayed Jason in the fucking first place.
Yeah, he killed his dad.
Kill my fucking dad, brother. Fuck you.
Alicia Vikander's just driving around in the van, just like, I've been fucked here. And Jason Bourne enters via the window and just goes, "Hey, you are my new accomplice. Tell me about the plot of this movie." And so she explains that the reason why Tommy Lee Jones wants Riz Ahmed's network is to do full spectrum surveillance, watching everyone.
Surveillance.
Stop it!
Shut
Stop
it!
Didn't say anything.
The government will know exactly how many Gundams you have. Full spectrum surveillance.
Neurotypical. I just like them. I think they're cool.
I want a drop of that.
So do I, yeah.
Watching everyone all the time. And, like, I'm sort of in two minds about this, right? Like, on the one hand, as we know, thanks to Edward Snowden, mass surveillance, already a reality, right? Like, it's mass data collection is already a thing. But on the other hand, and that kind of, like, undercuts this movie if it's like, oh, no, the CIA might be able to read your emails and shit. It's like, they can already do that. But on the other hand, this is a problem with all of these movies. Every movie about surveillance, everything from like Enemy of the State, whatever, is that the way you build the panopticon is by belief, right? You have to believe that you can be watched at any time. And like that's something that the CIA, the NSA, any number of intelligence agencies also have a vested interest in, is this idea that like, oh, we are actually like omniscient. We can pull anything. But it's like the actual capabilities there, which are very frightening, are different from being able to watch every person doing everything all the time. It cannot be done. And so, but it's important to make you believe that that is a technological possibility. And if that's a technological possibility, even a bad one, then you're going to sort of adjust your behavior and you're going to take account of this. And this is like one of the real problems with this movie. I think it's also why everyone's so insane, is that because we've all internalized this about mass surveillance, because we all believe that there's, you know, a predator drone watching us at any time, no one believes in accidents or incompetence anymore. No one believes in, like, this is why people look at things that, you know, the CIA do and go,
it doesn't make any sense.
Because they know everything, right? And if they know everything, why do they make mistakes? And the answer is that they don't. They have a lot of data, but that's like saying, you know, you're able to consume a lot of individual drops of water if you put your mouth over a fire hose. It's true, but like...
Yes, that's very astute analysis, Alice. That's really good.
They call me Alice Analysis.
That's why they listen to the fucking podcast, baby. That's what they're here for.
Yeah, there you go.
So they have to go to next location.
Yeah, anyway, Monsieur Chimp is here. So Tommy is micromanaging the shit out of Monsieur Chimp. Like, he's calling him every like, couple of minutes to be like, are you okay? Do you need some water? Like, you're valid.
How's
which
it going,
is
bestie?
mental. I don't know why he's called the Asset, by the way. Like, he's not part of Iron Hand or anything because he killed Jason Bourne's dad, so he clearly predates Treadstone. Like, I don't know what this guy's fucking deal is.
If every resource you have available to you is an asset, if you say get me the asset, then how do you know? How does anyone know that you mean that this means one Frenchman? But we have to go to the next location. Next location is Las Vegas, where DEF CON is happening.
So this is the second movie I've seen this year where like a major set piece is like a Comic-Con for weapons manufacturers in Las Vegas. Is this a real thing?
This is just DEF CON. Yeah, DEF CON is a real thing, but the thing is, it doesn't understand the culture of it very well. DEF CON is sort of like what you might loosely term a hacker convention, right? But
a lot of trans people.
I will say that a recurring game at DEF CON is
Sorry, when would you say it is in the year? How would I get there?
A lot of trans people, a lot of like weird sex shit happening around DEF CON. In the brackets, good.
But also a lot of weird Fed shit. But in a way that this movie singularly fails to understand. Like, what one recurring game at DEF CON, for instance, is something called Spot the Fed, right? You win a prize if you're able to identify an undercover federal agent. What this movie's version of DEF CON does is it has the
that agent gets killed.
Touch your hand on this metal plate. Is that
It's like chicken, but with a metal plate. That's what we're doing. We're all going to stand around and slowly put our hands towards the plate.
My new startup, Plate. No, but what this movie's version of DEF CON involves is the CIA director giving a keynote privacy debate against Facebook
I can't
guy.
help but feel that he would not do that.
No.
So for two guys who are really worried about the fallout if they were revealed to be working together, they sure are sat next to each other on stage.
Oh yeah.
Photographed
Just,
next
like,
to each other
shaking
a whole
hands.
lot.
I gotta talk about the other thing, the other catastrophically irresponsible thing that this movie does, which is like one of three, I think. The previous two being mass surveillance of like in an omniscient way as possible, and the other one being I don't remember. But the third one is that Tommy Lee Jones wants to have Riz Ahmed killed, right, for betraying him, and so the way he does this is he gets his guy, the guy who says Jason Bourne, Jesus Christ, to do it, and they come up with
fictional jihadi shooter, a 20-year-old Iraqi national. We created bank accounts, travel documents, emails, phone records. They look like a lone wolf.
So there you go. The US government can and will and does perpetrate a false flag terrorist attack by shooting in Las Vegas, nonetheless.
Interesting.
Um,
Simply a year before Stephen Paddock gave that a shot.
Yeah.
Not an Iraqi national,
so to speak.
Like I say, this is like, because we have so badly mishandled in the popular imagination the evil shit that the intelligence community does. It makes people conspiratorial, and it makes people conspiratorial in the wrong ways, in the wrong directions, to the point where they're not able to believe that, like, a guy might perpetrate a shooting by himself, because there are no accidents. Yeah, because in a world of total surveillance, there can be no accidents. It's a much more boring idea of a world to live in, but it's also one that will make you insane.
So this ties into a theory I have about this film. Like, Jason Bourne says later on, like, my dad was blown up by, I was told, terrorists, and therefore I volunteered to become a chimp. And then he has this line later on where he says, I volunteered because of a lie. And my notes say, is this film about 9/11 being an inside job?
Ooh, shit, maybe.
Is this sort of like we did the Iraq war because of 9/11 and like Bush did
It's like the fifth movie we've talked about where you have come out of nowhere with a, this is about 9/11. First of which, most notably, is Spy Kids 3D.
Well, that was about 9/11. I think
no, Spy Kids 2, sorry.
Oh, yeah, it was about 9/11, yeah. No, it was 3. It was 3.
Oh, it was 3. Yeah, no, you're right.
So Jason Bourne infiltrates DEF CON. He picks up two quite literal plot devices off of a store. One, there's a big bucket of RFID tags, which is like so funny that could plausibly be a DEF CON thing.
I believe it.
It's just like, here, spy on your friends or enemies with this bucket of free RFID tags.
Also, like, surely, just like, the women at the conference would be like, can we not have that, maybe? Like,
you would hope.
Let's not make it really easy for someone to follow me.
Well, he does put this direct, like, he gives this to a woman, like, so. But the other thing he picks up is a spy camera that with a like a laser microphone that lets you record audio from 50 meters away. This will not be important for a while.
Podcasting.
Yeah,
that's right.
So Tommy calls up the Monsieur Chimp. And he goes, all right, you need to kill this motherfucker right now.
Yes.
This bitch, this bitch Aaron Kalor, that's
Kalor.
one, sorry. Yeah. You need to shoot Riz Ahmed right now. You need to kill him because he's going to go back on the contract or whatever.
He's going to expose that the CIA is deeply embedded in Facebook and will use that to do total surveillance. Also, Edward Snowden is a real person within the fiction of this movie, so everyone already knows that. But he's going to,
in order to pass it off as like not a very specific and targeted shooting, Tommy volunteers to get Imran Zakhaev'd. So he goes, yes! I'm going to have my hand by my side, put a bullet in it too, just to avoid suspicion.
Just for the vibes, you know. I'm never going to play concert piano again.
And when he hangs up the call, which I really like, he just like looks at his hand for a bit, as if he's like saying his goodbyes to it. He's like, you know, you've done your best tonight. All right.
It's like, I've got 15 minutes, I'll have a wank with this hand, why not? For all the time's sake.
Yeah, the farewell stranger.
Yeah. The farewell stranger.
Doing that before I get surgery. So,
all of this.
Meanwhile, Monsieur Chimp is engaged in like a hitman level.
He really is.
He disguises himself as a waiter. He like infiltrates through the back. He puts his sniper rifle together. He's going to shoot through a vent and kill Aaron Kalur. Jason takes advantage of like an agent going to the bathroom to just beat him up in the bathroom. which is cool.
Jason Bourne bathroom invader.
Yes, he gives Alicia Vikander the RFID tag and is like, put this on Tommy Lee Jones, which she does while he's sort of evilly monologuing to her about, there's no way you can defeat me. I'm the bureaucratic master of deceit and conspiracy. We also see that she and Aaron Claude know each other from Stanford. They went to college together, which I do kind of like. It's like, yeah, all these people know each other.
Oh,
that's fine.
Yeah. Tommy Lee Jones is also like gets on the phone to Chimp and is like, "Yo, you got to kill this girl too."
Yeah. It is now time to kill her as well. They get on stage where they're about to do the mass surveillance debate, and Tommy Lee Jones gets held back by a phone call that like Jason Bourne is here. So he's staying off the stage. He is ready to like come on and trigger the shooting. And Riz Ahmed, Aaron Claude, begins with the most ominous set of like words. I'm not sure why Monsieur Chimp waits this long, because essentially what he goes is, there's a cancer at the heart of my company. I made a deal with a guy in a dark suit when I was starting out, and now it's coming back to bite us. And everyone's like, what could this possibly mean?
Yeah, Trivia's time.
Yeah, I feel like you should have just been more direct,
Monsieur Chimp is like going, oh, fuck off, like desperately assembling the sniper rifle faster. He's shit. And like, Tommy like rings him up and goes, kill this motherfucker right now.
So, Jason...
But that would surely have been the most suspicious thing possible. Is to be like, right at the moment he was about
shot mid-sentence of saying that shit. And I know that these days a government cover-up doesn't have to be particularly believable, but you want to be like...
At least the
fucking... At least all the CCTV cameras were out that night thing is a little bit more subtle than I made a deal with the CI gunshot noise.
Damn, that's crazy. I wonder what he was going to say. Anyway.
Yeah, wonder what that other initial could have been. Probably nothing. But Jason distracts him. He shoots and wounds Monsieur Chimp, thus saving Aaron Claude's life. Alicia Vikander doesn't even get shot at all. And Tommy Lee Jones is like, right, I gotta not go to a secure location. I gotta go back to my hotel room and I'm gonna monologue at this guy.
It's time to go to an insecure location.
It's now time for Tommy Lee Jones to earn his paycheck on this movie because he fucking bosses this scene.
It is now time to act, and this is a great scene actually. Like we've had the 3 or 4 instances of Jason confronts the shadowy CIA person who made him Jason Bourne.
This is the most sinister it's ever been. Also, Tommy Lee Jones is one of the only actors I've ever seen who can make getting into a lift look sinister.
Yeah, fucking hell. He's so good.
He's occupies that space.
Just prior to this, we get one of my favorite shots that you can do, which is a low-angled upward shot of 3 dudes in suits walking down a dark corridor in like a triangle formation, and one of them's loading a gun. I was like,
oh, that's
yeah,
great.
This is always good. This is always great.
The CIA security fuck up because they accidentally do the thing they weren't supposed to and identify Professor Chimp, Monsieur Chimp, as the shooter. And so from that moment on, the cops are on him, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, it's good.
I liked seeing the chased by cops with someone other than Jason Bourne. But so Jason kicks the door in, holds him at gunpoint, and the vibe here is essentially like, no, you chose to do this, actually. You volunteered to do this. This is your whole identity. You are Jason Bourne. The name of this movie is Jason. It's not David Webb. No one gives a shit about
David Webb.
Yeah, no one gives a shit about that guy. This is who you are. You got to stop running from it. You got to come in. And Jason is very troubled by this.
Will you commit to this program?
Yes. And Jason is like, I can't commit to this program.
Because 9/11 was an inside job.
Because you killed my dad. And also because it's you.
I'm clipping that as well.
I'm neurotypical. So
I'm normal. They're neat. They're neat.
So he's like, but Jason, you're a patriot, and you know that our country is exposed to real danger, and you wanna help, and you wanna be Jason Bourne. And
he's like, nah.
He goes, no.
Nah. He shoots him non-fatally. Jason Bourne gets shot, and then at the last moment, Alicia Vikander has to come in and shoot Tommy Lee Jones fatally and end the thing because Fine.
And then he's like, I'm going to go and kill Monsieur Chimp. And she says, you don't have to be Jason Bourne. And then he just leaves the scene.
He just leaves. Doesn't even bother answering her.
He's like, I could.
Yeah. There was one fun line in this monologue, which is like where Jason is holding him at gunpoint. He goes, "Listen, I'm trying to do something else. I'm trying to be someone else." And Tommy Lee Jones
doesn't make sense.
Looks at him with the gun in his hand. It's like, how's that working out? You know?
Yeah, that is
holding him at gunpoint. Is that going well for you?
So they now remember that Monsieur Chimp exists. He's getting hunted by the cops. He looks the most ominous and like the most obvious he's ever looked. Every time he runs into a load of cops, stops dead, turns around 180 degrees, and runs in the opposite direction. And none of the cops notice. Also, much like the Berlin cops in Ultimatum loved shouting Polizei, all of these guys love to run through a room shouting federal agents. Mm-hmm. Very, very constant.
Every cop has their own thing. This is the collected Jason Bourne / Kill James Bond anthology of cops.
Yeah, and I imagine like shouting federal agents as you run through a room is probably pretty fun, so I don't begrudge them
cool.
that.
I do that all the time.
I don't know what Scottish cops do.
So then we get a car chase. I can't see what's happening.
No, I was so annoyed, right? Jason chases Monsieur Chimp down to the lobby. We get a 1 second foreshadowing shot of the parked SWAT team Bearcat, and I just write down at this moment, oh no. Not a car chase, please. No, I'm not strong enough. We get the fucking car chase. Monsieur Chimp is driving the Bearcat.
Can't see.
Jason Bourne is chasing him. There are a lot of cops. We get a lot of foot shots again.
There's something I want to notice. A flag up about this car chase. It goes on far too long. First of all, but secondly, listeners, you know that moment like during a vehicle chase section in a film where there'll be some like really intense music, and then a vehicle goes in midair and the music stops, and then the vehicle like comes down again and the music starts again. So it'll go like dun 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 dun, dun, and then we're in midair, and then it goes boom. Dun, 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 dun. That happens 4 times in this chase. It's so long.
My notes just say it with me if you know the words. I can't see what's happening.
That's right. At one point, the cops try to block in this like armored truck with their regular cop cars, which is very funny. I like to think about.
Yeah, maybe, and he just crashes straight through him.
Yeah, Jason defeats him by means of car suplex. He drives his car onto the roof of the truck, which then causes it to crash.
Yeah, it would be sick if you could see it, huh?
I thought he just crashed. I thought he just fucked up and crashed.
They escape into a sort of obligatory sewer level where they fight. And of course, because it would be rude, the cops don't interrupt them. You hear a couple of sirens, so you know they're still there, but like no one follows them.
Yeah, someone's like...
I assume they fight, can't see it, can't see what's happening.
They're going into a storm drain. Let's wait.
Jason makes him look to the left really quickly.
They have right, here's another fucking thing, and it's similar to the one that you mentioned in the Bourne Ultimatum. I don't know, they're all named the fucking same again. Which is that this guy has a knife, and Jason Bourne is fighting him using a fucking saucepan he picked up off the ground.
Yes,
and there's no jokes.
No,
how do you
played
fucking
completely
fight
straight.
a guy with a saucepan and it's just like played straight?
Yes.
Also, why is there a saucepan?
It might be a saucepan. I couldn't fucking see it.
I'm trying to flush my saucepan.
Like, I don't understand how you can fuck it. This is like you gave someone who hates movies unlimited budget to make a movie. Like, he's proving why the medium needs to be retired. That's his fucking purpose.
The synopsis on Wikipedia says Bourne snaps the assets neck, killing him and avenging his father and Parsons. But he doesn't avenge his father. He doesn't say shit about them.
He doesn't say shit.
He just kills him and leaves.
Also, Nikki isn't mentioned either.
He makes him look fast to the left, and then he gets up and sort of staggers off, and I was like, there better not be a sequel hook. And guess what, baby?
Bad news.
Also, how does he get away from the police? Never mind, he leaves.
So there's a whole Cossack posse up his ass. Yeah. Where did I fucking...
The full Cossack posse up his ass.
Can't arrest a guy who's limping.
This guy seems like he's just achieved apotheosis of his storyline. We can't fucking arrest him, can we? Cunt.
Society.
So
Riz Ahmed survives.
Yes.
Heather wants to be the new director of the CIA, and then I'm like, aren't you like 25? Whatever.
Yeah, Riz Ahmed doesn't want to get killed, so he just walks out of hospital, and everybody's like, "Hey, what were you gonna say after C and I?" And he's like, "I'm not gonna mention that. I'm
like, that's crazy."
Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, though, how about Facebook?
Yeah.
And then we go to Washington, D.C.
What's your aunt up to? You want to know? Facebook.
What's your cousin up to? Oh, not good. I'll tell you that. Not good.
Yeah. So we go to DC where Alicia Vikander is talking to the director of national intelligence, and she makes a sort of like Darth Vader pitch here, which is like, listen, all of the last four, the last four Tommy Lee Joneses, all old, right? My thing, I'm not old, and also I'm a woman.
What if Tommy Lee Jones was a hot lady?
I know how to computers. These are my people. I understand them. And I still think that we can bring Jason Bourne in. And the director of national intelligence goes, well, okay, but what if you won't? She goes, well, obviously we fucking kill him. Of course. You think I just leave him alone? Would I get the kill Jason Bourne job if I just said, no, I probably wouldn't worry about it.
And he goes, interesting. And then she like gets out of the car and fucking she walks
Jason
up.
Bourne,
Jason Bourne is there. She goes up to him, and they're in like Hyde Park near the fucking like the pond or whatever, and she gives him a cast of his dad's star in Langley on the wall, which is just kind of nice.
Not Nikki. Nothing to do with Nikki.
Who?
Character from previous films.
Yeah, and she gives him the sort of like, oh, we're both patriots. You know, you could help keep this country safe. It's different now at the CIA. This is the one other part I like is like,
come back, baby. I promise the CIA
one
has
of
changed.
the few sort of glimpses at how
chillin'. It's awesome.
How institutions are able to like reproduce themselves and preserve themselves by doing the sort of minimum amount of superficial change of being like, actually, we're girl bosses now. So have you considered, Jason, that you're a misogynist? And Jason goes, yeah, I'll think about it. She gets back in her car and she sees he has left the spy camera with the recording of her going, yeah, I'd probably just fucking kill him, to be honest. And we get the least fucking earned
movie.
As he walks away. Jason Bourne.
Jason Bourne will definitely return in Jason Bourne, you know his name 2, you still know what he's called. Fuck off.
I hope we keep doing these forever. I hope we do them like Indiana Jones movies. I hope Matt Damon is 94 years old having to jump off of a roof, being de-aged.
Indiana Jones
shit.
was at least different every time. I really, listeners, cannot stress how much this film is just like, it's just Jason Bourne 1 in a bag shaken up, just as Jason Bourne's 2 and 3 were. It's just the same film.
2023, I want the Bourne similarity where we do this with Matt Damon again.
Also, listen, we've been doing that joke where we go do. That's because they literally are using the same music.
It's back. It's back, baby. It is.
But for now, until they persuade Matt Damon back again, we're done. We got his ass. We're finished with Jason Bourne. We're finished with the sort of... We've transitioned from this phase of the program, having killed James Bond. We've finished another series. And now that leaves us in the position of going, well, what the fuck do we do next?
Good question.
I think, for now, the answer is, we still want to be Kill James Bond, because it's a good name, and also we have the website and everything.
Yeah, it's really hard to change names, it turns out.
there's oh, tell me about it. Or any of us, really.
I pulled it very easily. All of us have changed names at least once. Tell me about it, ass.
I did it twice.
Yeah, same. No, but
me, baby.
I think what we should do is, I think there's some war on terror movies. I think there's some spy movies that would provide a useful counterpoint. And the movie that I want to watch next for our next mainline episode is a little film called Syriana. Also with Matt Damon.
Okay. To ease us out of Jason Bourne?
Yeah, I think it'll be a useful counterpoint, because it's like, it won't depress you as much as the one that I had also mooted for this role. But I want to talk about Syriana because I think it's wildly underrated in understanding all of this shit.
In that case, I think I'm pretty happy to call that season 2, episode 1.
I think so. I think so.
Nice.
Go, Davey.
You have now completed season 1 of Kill James Bond.
Well done. Well, first we have a science-based rating system. You're not quite done yet.
It's still scum. The girth system is good, but it's a little like
it's scum. But I think we should find a way to insert homophobia.
I think we can just talk about that in general. Well, anyway, so scum.
I think it's a culture.
You think we should find a way to insert homophobia?
Yeah, I think we should. Misogyny is very funny to me.
I'm neurotypical. So, SMARM, the SMARM of this movie. I
could be the chums system. We could have an H for homophobia. SMARM. What do we think about SMARM?
I think it's pretty low. I mean, like, obviously Tommy Lee Jones has a lot of SMARM, but he is punished for that by being shot.
That's true. He does have a little bit more than usual.
Jason Bourne doesn't have a lot of SMARM because, as ever, he's a sort of yawning void of SMARM. Like, all of the bits where he talks about himself or his arc or whatever are just like, I don't care about that. I'm not your friend. I don't care about society or indeed anything. It's a sort of very nihilist movie in that way. So I think it's low SMARM.
I want to give it a 2. Tommy Lee Jones's SMARM is like a particular kind of like schmaltzy patriotic SMARM.
That's true.
And
That's
I think
true.
That still counts. I'm broadening the definition of SMARM as we venture into season 2. But how do we feel about a 2?
Yeah, and Alicia Vikander tries to do a bit of SMARM on him too, and you're like kind of meant to sympathize with this idea of like grumpy patriotism of being like, oh, well, you know, maybe you have to do the necessary thing and stuff. So yeah, no, I think so.
2?
2.
Sure. Cultural insensitivity.
Well, I mean,
Albanian fucking border.
Yeah. Both Greece and Albania not presented well in this movie. On the other hand, we spend most of it in fucking London. Oh, I mean, Athens, the Greek people who are always rioting and fighting the cops.
Yeah. Based.
Finally doing patriotic socialism, but then other than that, we spend most of it in like London and
the Eurozone,
yeah, London and Las Vegas. And Aaron Kalor, despite being a Desai character, is not portrayed particularly insensitively culturally. Like, there's nothing to like that doesn't weigh on his character at all.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a double-edged sword, I suppose. But yeah, no, he's just regular tech CEO is his kind of character.
Still, I think that thing about Albania is like kind of...
It's pretty bad.
Civilization is within the EU. It's a bit like...
He's on the borderlands of civilization, which is why he's growing out his beard and he's like debasing himself, fighting for the amusement of these foreigners.
It's the kind of thing they do out there, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How about a 3?
I would say a 3, yeah.
Let's go. Absolutely.
Now...
Unprovoked violence.
Everyone dies in this movie is one thing I'd maybe note. There's a great deal of violence towards Nikki, although to be fair, that's probably worth discussing under misogyny.
Yes.
It's still the way this movie deals with people is that they're in a scene, they say what they need to, and then they die. And it's so fucking like so clear that they just don't know what to do with a character if they can't shoot him at the end of a scene. So Society.
Yeah.
It's getting more goblin every time we say it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, Jason Bourne. Goblin mode. Have you considered that we live in a society? He's not French, he's German. I don't know why I'm French on it.
Weird that they named him Christian Dassault. But anyway, so I think Christian Dassault does betray some of the film's attitude towards violence in that it's like...
normal.
Yeah, the assets killing of Nikki is like something that has to be avenged or whatever. But for him to try and hit Jason over the back of the head with a big dumbbell or whatever, that's kind of expected. That's just the world that they both inhabit.
I kind of want to give it a few points because over the course of the series, there's kind of been this creep of the normalization of violence.
Yes. Definitely.
Because in the first one, Jason Bourne was like, oh my God, I killed people. That's like horrible. I wish I wasn't a CIA killer. And in this one, it's just like, well, you could kill the wrong people, but killing somebody is like not fundamentally all that bad.
Yeah, when he kills Professor Chimp in the first movie, he just he shoots him and kind of like almost a mercy killing. This one, he snaps a guy's spine. And that's shown too. That's you get a facial close up before he like.
And this is portrayed as like good and right, and it's like I think that Jason Bourne in the first film, who was raised, that's not the way of the fisherman that you were raised in.
It's nothing to do with the way of the fisherman. They abandoned that.
We really thought the way of the fisherman would be a bigger thing because we didn't look at any of the movies after this. He doesn't do any fisherman shit after that.
Yeah, if they'd done anything even slightly fish related, you guarantee I would be saying that shit. But like, it just doesn't do it.
Just doesn't.
Well, he did do Jason Spawn at the end of the last one. How do we feel about a 4, 3?
I would say 4. I think the neck snap takes it up there.
Yeah.
Now misogyny. Well, before we talk about Nikki, we do also have to talk about Heather Lee, Alicia Vikander, who is competent, scheming, evil. She gets outwitted, but she gets her own back.
Bourne franchise has also finally learned how to have a female character who is both cool and hot.
That's true. Yeah, I think you're doing down Pamela Landy a little bit there, but yes, sure. Yeah, I don't mind her as a character. Still
a fine performance. Yeah.
Still a weird fucking accent, but what can you do? But on the fucking other hand. How can we portray that a woman is going through emotional turmoil? Oh, well, she forgot to put on a bit of makeup. You know, that's what women do, isn't it?
Also, yeah, what I like about Alicia Vikander's character is that role could have been played by a man. You could have very easily... Like, the fact that she is a woman is never really touched on. And I'm like, oh, cool. That's in one sense, good.
Yeah, and it does help her feel like a bit more of an outsider when she's, like, in the room scheming, which is nice. But, so Nikki, of course, she gets 5 lines, more or less, all of which are another Jason Bourne movie is happening. Gets chased. There is one bit in the scene where she like does defend herself. She hits one of the CIA guys with a pipe, and it isn't like kind of like thing. She fucking like lays a guy out.
She's a master of kung fu and karate.
Yes. Well. But then she gets killed to advance the plot. She wasn't really a character. We've forgotten about all of the stuff we previously did with her character, which was kind of interesting. It's bad. It's real bad, in my opinion.
It sucks.
About a 4.
I thumbs up.
We could go to a 4. Misogyny is very funny to me, actually.
That gives us a total score of 13, which is not good for the Jason Bourne franchise, to be perfectly honest. No. Certainly, it's worse than Bourne Legacy.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. Bourne Legacy they accidentally made most of a good film. And then they Jason Bourne it again. And it's so desperately funny that they thought they would do another one afterwards. To me, that is the funniest thing in the world.
Yeah, you have to put Matt Damon on like a thin serving of gruel so that he's able to maintain the fucking stupid physique that you have to do these movies in his 40s.
I have such a advanced form of Schadenfreude for these kind of movies that if I see an unresolved sequel hook, it fills me with such joy. Just such true energy. To be like, you fucking dipshits. You thought this was good enough for another? And that is a podcast.
That's a podcast.
And now that we're into season 2 of Kill James Bond, I think we wanted to focus a lot on like films that say something about masculinity.
That's right.
So that really opens up to all kinds of stuff. I would love to do the Superman series at some point. That would be like a really good run. Like,
what we're gonna do, ignore my thing about Syriana earlier. What we're gonna do is, now that we've seen all of the James Bond movies in order, and now that we've seen all of the Jason Bourne movies in order, we're gonna watch every other remaining movie series in order. So next episode, we're gonna see that thing with the train coming straight towards the camera.
That would be a really good, like, special episode. By the way, this episode that goes out is going to be the 69th episode that we've posted on Podbean, because we've unlocked a few. But I think that's funny. Yeah, we should do, like, the fucking train coming forward as like, a special. The one where some shit crashes into the moon.
Unprovoked violence to the moon. The moon is a woman, so it's misogyny.
The next bonus, I don't know if I'm at liberty to divulge, but it is the month of June, which means that once again it's time for the Banquet of Forgiveness.
That's right.
Month of free bonus episodes to say thank you to you, the fans, and to our proud sponsors at Raytheon and GCHQ.
That's right. Yeah. And thank you for staying with us throughout this whole season. And we will return with, I guess, Voyage to the Moon.
Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne.
Thank you for listening to yet another, and indeed the final episode of Season 1 of Kill James Bond. It's been 1 week since Bourne Legacy. It's been a hell of a journey. It's been fantastic. I cannot say thank you enough to you, the fans, the audience. I still don't want to call you my fans because I think it feels exceedingly conceited to admit that I might have fans. So instead, I'll simply say thank you to you, the listener. Kill James Bond will, of course, return in 2 weeks' time for Season 2, Episode 1, Syriana. But if that is simply too long for you to wait, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/KillJamesBond, where next week we will be releasing Season 2, Episode 0.5. Sorry, we had to push this one back a week. We're going to do a Q&A instead. Sorry, lol. Oh, I cannot believe we managed to make this one happen. Yeah, we didn't manage, sorry. If you don't want to subscribe to the Patreon, don't fucking worry about it, because that one is going to be coming out free on the free feed for the Banquet of Forgiveness, our yearly month where we give back to you, beautiful fans. And speaking of you, special thanks, of course, to our £15 and above patrons, and those are Christine Fox, Fawkes Winchester, Paint McCullough, Jack Holmes, George Rohack, Charles Schultz, Thomas Oberhardt, Nikki, Carolyn Tankersley, Library Hitman, Max Kapinski, Benno Rice, Michael Lauder, Kit Devine, Amanda Rogda, Max Gamenhart, Jonathan Curtis, Dread Pirate Robin, Hell Bloodhands, Kentucky Fried Commie, Jay Martindale, Fremen Commissar Jen, Phoebe Olivia Harper, Ellie Without the E, Mothman, Top O, Sydney Steckel, Big Titty Goth Girl, Timothy Pajorni, Trip, Amber DeGracias, Saphira Luciferax, okay, Charlie Out of the Closet, Jenna and Paul, Zoe Shepherd, Elizabeth Cox, JM111519, Finn Ross, Alfredo, I Make Devon Say This Out Loud, Philippa Smith, Raoul Leal, Wolfie, Tristram Wolf, you two should make friends, Al Irving, Richard Drum, Lucy Keeley, Faye Haven, Millie, Bon LeBon, Josh Simmons, Lauren Bastin, Penny Banks, Raised on a Diet, and indeed Turfs, Eat Shit and Die Alone. This has been Kill James Bond, starring, as always, Alice, Abigail, and Devon. Our producer is the wonderful Nate Bethay. Our podcast art is by Maddie Lubchansky, and our website is by Tom Allen. See ya.